Oh. 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 Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. Exactly 6 years ago, Pujaswami Tejo Mayananda came to our home for the last time. He began his North American tour in Niagara. We got to pick him up from the airport. He stayed with us and so on. Exactly 5 years ago, our first child, Vyasa, came home from the hospital. He was born yesterday, and Sheila and I and him, we stayed in the hospital and he came home. Today's a special day for me. Today's a special day for you too. Because every one of our experiences has led us to today, to this very moment. Everyone, relax your bodies, enjoy breathing, and be grateful for every one of your experiences, whether you label them to be negative or positive. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Our prayers that every individual, family, community, society, humanity is happy or divine. We are reaching the completion of chapter 7. The theme of chapter 7, internalization. Enough intellectualization. We are to practice internalization. That means growing up from dushkritina. This is a word Sri Krishna used in English. Enough being an extrovert, moving away from who one is. Growing up from artha bhakta, the one who remembers the divine when they are in adversity. That is one of the least mature ways to practice devotion, is to only remember the divine during tough times. To grow up from artharthi bhaktaha, to grow up from being a devotee, to grow into prosperity. One is to come out of adversity, one is to come into prosperity. These types of bhaktas, they are not bhaktas of Sri Krishna, they are bhaktas of Anya Devata. They're devoted to the semi. The omni is peace, the semi is position, possession, pleasure. If that's too technical, you can change it to they're devoted to creation. They don't keep the creator or consciousness in their radar, only creation. Why are we like this? This confusion is not because of the noise outside. This confusion is because of the noise in our minds. Our minds are noisy. Whenever we're experiencing intense noise, what do we try to do? Escape from it. So we live like this in an extrovert way, focusing on adversity and prosperity. How to nurture clarity then? How do I become a real devotee? Worship idols. Now, you know I'm the last person to say that and end the statement there. Idols are really symbolic for ideals. Like a Sri Hanumana is an ideal of loyalty. And when you worship ideals, the mind becomes quiet. There's not a confusion about how to be happy. There's a clarity on how to be happy. If this quietude is not nurtured, this confusion gets expressed outwardly as division. Confusion is the cause, division is the effect. We keep dividing. And if you think of this logically, why would one divide? Because they feel division is real. The more you divide, the more you think division is real. The more you think division is real, the more you divide. Like a child. What's your favorite color? Blue. My favorite color is green, so I'm better. That's what a child does, correct? They believe that there's a better color, and so they go on dividing. We do that too, in so many ways, particularly with beings. And so I've shared with all of you many, many, many times. When I share with you that I've shared with you, for those who are newer to Meaningful Mornings, to express that Meaningful Mornings is a workshop about longevity. This is not an event for those who are older to Meaningful Mornings. If you've forgotten this, and now I share it again, work harder and smarter to remember this. Whether that means writing it down or reflecting upon it. Practice labeling less. No need to label social media, no need to label foods, no need to wear labeled clothing, no need to label your own emotions. Less labels is a catalyst to less likes. That was the focus of the last verse. If you have likes, that's a noise in the mind. Causes confusion, division. Division causes confusion, noise. Less labels, less likes. Then, what is the fulfillment of this? Less likes, less limits. If I like only highway driving, then when I'm driving in the city, I feel limited then. But if I don't have that like, driving is driving. I have to get from point A to point B, I don't feel limited on the highway nor city. This is what our journey is about, correct? Letting go of dependency, letting go of limits. Shri Krishna ends this chapter with positivity is coming to an end, sharing insights on how not to be dushkritina, artha bhakta, artharthi bhakta. Verse 28. Yesham tvandagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmuktaha bhajante mam dhrada vrataha. Yesham tu antagatam papa. Indeed, those antagatam papam whose sins have come to a anta, have come to an end. Share with me in the chat, what is the original sin from which all other sins express? The original sin is forgetfulness, yes, avidya. Generally, we use the word ignorance. Think lots about this word and the implication of ignorance. Your nature is not ignorance. Why? Because Sri Krishna has shared so, period. Why do I have to explain this logically when Sri Krishna has shared that this ignorance comes to an end? But to offer you logic, because we're thirsting for it. Ignorance is a reference and it needs a locus. Ignorance is not an independent entity that's just floating there. It is always in reference to another entity. Vivek is ignorant about being on a hot air balloon because I've never been. See how it's in reference to the hot air balloon. You can't just call Vivek ignorant. You can, but it's meaningless. Our ignorance is in reference to divinity, to the source of joy. Sharing one more implication of this. We tend to be careless with interacting with people. Sometimes in our carelessness, if someone makes a mistake, what do we say? You are a mistake. They made a mistake. It's attributed to the action, but what will come out of our thoughts or our words? You are a mistake. We're attributing it to a personality. Yes? I'm experiencing anger versus I'm angry are very different. Jananam punya karmanam, amongst people, those who have lived virtuously, punya karmana. They've lived virtuously, and so their vices have come to an end. Papa, in a more relative way, or sin, is when you identify with smallness, and so you live accordingly. Pujaswami Chinmayananda says, identifying with this smallness is identifying with the body. If that's all you feel you are, all you will do is eat and drink. Yes? This identification with the body is now shifted to a virtual platform. It's identification with our name and form. I want this many followers. I want to use this many filters to look like this. This is unfiltered. You know that, correct? If this is a filter, I'm awful with social media. How does one grow out of this smallness? In a systematic way. And that system is satsanga, seva, sadhana, seva. First, satsanga, to be with those who are thinking big, living big. Then seva is a way of practicing that. Now, is it going to work out well? It's not going to. So we come back to sadhana to fill in the holes, particularly about deservership. That as I'm serving, as I'm living for others, I should be recognized. I should be appreciated. So sadhana is required. And then when you fill in the holes, you go back to seva, to living selflessly, in which case then you address the doership. See how one has to systematically come out of this smallness. Te dvandva moha nirmuktaha. Such personalities who have lived virtuously, have ended vices, they're freed from dvandva. They're freed from opposites. They're freed from moha, which is separation. Shared differently, because they followed dharma. Dharma is their responsibilities that have integrated them. There's no more dvandva, there's no more dvaita. No more confusion, no more ignorance. Dhrida vrataha, they are deeply determined, bhajante mam, to live for me, as in Sri Krishna. Bhajante here doesn't mean they sing only. They sing, they seek, they serve, they worship, they love only me. Loyal like Sri Hanumana. When someone follows dharma, there's less dvandva, there's less dvaita. The great utility of this is there's less bhaya. They're so in love that they're no longer afraid of likes and dislikes. And so that this is not abstract. They're completely in love, and so they don't care about others' opinions. Like a Devi Meera or the gopis, did they care what other people thought about them? They only followed that love. For all of us to be considerate about this in reference to our families. Your family may not love Sri Krishna. If you love Sri Krishna, which you do, period. All else that is shared about you, you don't have to go out and say, I don't care. Don't tell me your opinion. Just smile and nod. Like you do in class. Yes? You're already trained in this. From inspiration to application. Your application, Selflessness Week. This is your sadhana. A sadhana is a means. Sadhya is the ends. That which brings you closer to the ends is a sadhana. Selflessness. Shanti, shanti, shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.